Welcome to Women Talk Construction. Welcome back. This is the show where we hype up the women who are out there building the future and inspiring the next generation. I'm Christi Powell, your host, and I'm chilling with my co-host, Angela Gardner. I got to make a laugh about that.
We love it.
We had AI write the script today because we have a young
You're
entrepreneur on with us today. So we're super excited about it. Anyway, so we are chilling today just because that's what AI thinks we need to say. Anyway, Angela's bringing some young, fiery energy, and our guest is going to as well. So, Angela, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm fiery. I like being called young and fiery. Can we get more of this?
Yes, I agree. I need it too. I want to be young and fiery.
I'm excited about our next guest. This is our hope and dream, right, Christi, to have more young voices on here. So,
yeah. So today we have Sumer Furlong, who's with us from a land development company. She is the manager at ResproLand. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Who's killing it while studying, or maybe just finished studying, construction engineering technology, where she was at the Greenville Technical Institute. So Sumer's not just crunching numbers. She's actually in the field on the projects, and she's also a youth mentor at her church, which I love. In Simpsonville, she's been leading mission trips during her walk of life, and all over the world, from Guatemala to Romania, and talk about an inspiring young lady. So glad that Kristen Myers introduced us to you, and
Yes.
she was able to speak to the Women Confidence Builders students and women not long ago in February, and she was very inspiring. We were so glad to have you there, and those young girls really respected and appreciated your take on just what we are challenged with every day. So thank you for that. So I'm going to start off and just ask you if you would just share just a little bit about you, because all of your information is going to be on the website where everybody can find it, your bio, where you work, what your work does. But if you'd share just a short summary of who you are and why you do what you do, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, so thanks for having me today. I'm Sumer, I'm 24, and I'm based out of Greenville, South Carolina. I work with a land development company, like Christi said, called ResproLand. And we do management as well as work with builders to do horizontal or vertical building. I also, just repeating what she said, I'm a youth mentor. So I work with my church as well, which is super fun. Get to walk alongside students as they graduate and step into their next season of life, which I'm not far ahead of them, but I feel like I've got a lot of experience. And so it's fun. I'm busy and it's good.
That's awesome. Well, one of the things you said that I think it's really important is that when we get a lot, we are expected to give a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I know that women in general, we are good about, when somebody's poured into us, we feel like we need to pour back into the next generation. So it doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah.
I have a 26-year-old mentor sometimes. She tells me things. I'm like, oh, I didn't understand that. Thank you. Or I didn't know that. Like, she just knows things I don't know. And that there's nothing wrong with that. The age doesn't really matter. It's just people have given you information and you're willing to help others with the information that you're given. So let's start out with the first question. And thank you for being here. You're a land development manager, which I'm just now kind of understanding what all is involved with that. And it's a lot. It is a lot. There's not a lot of women in your role, from what I can tell.
Nope.
And you handle everything from site evaluations to project tracking, all while you were in school until you just graduated, correct?
Stepped out of it. Yeah.
Stepped out of it. Okay. She was in school, but she found a better opportunity. I did the same thing when I was your age. I actually found a better opportunity. So first of all, how'd you land this job? Right. And then what's it like being one of the youngest people in the construction industry?
Yeah. So I landed this job because my dad has been a land development manager for as long as I can remember. And he stepped away from a corporate job to work with a slightly smaller company and asked if I wanted to come on and join the team and kind of intern under him and learn all of his experience.
Nice.
So I definitely had a little foot in the door to start with, which has been super nice. And then I would say being the youngest or one of the youngest on the team, there's definitely some pressure that comes with it of like, I wish I knew more and I wish I could learn a lot faster than I can. But I also have had this gratitude for like the people I'm around and how much information they have and how much I can like learn and glean from them at the same time.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's really great.
I'm just sitting here thinking about how full your wisdom and information is going to be and experience is going to be in just a few years, right? Like you're just going to be so far ahead. Sorry about that.
We definitely want our listeners to hear what your dad's doing with you, and that it doesn't need to be a family member. It can be anyone that brings them along and create, it's an internship and they're mentoring you.
Well, and the other thing too is there's not a lot of people Sumer's age that recognize the gift that is. And I think that's important to mention, right? She thinks of it as a gift.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That she's being able to be around a lot of people who have a lot of wisdom that's going to make her life better.
Yeah.
No, you're right about that. So, wow, your story is great, but it's also a pretty big one. You have a lot of responsibilities and, with the scheduling, the budgeting, and keeping projects on track during this time of a lot going on is probably very hard. But what's the coolest part of being a land development manager? And how do you juggle that with, like, recently you made that decision, you kind of hinted with it about like not choosing to go back to school. Why did you choose not to do that? Tell our audience more about that as well.
Yeah. So I just finished my first semester at Greenville Tech in their construction engineering program, and I decided not to continue because I talked to some other professionals in the field who I don't work with, so got some unbiased opinions.
Nice.
And just was like, hey, what would you do in my situation? And all the advice that I got back was if you can get the hands-on experience, which I can because I'm already in the middle of it, then drop the school and do that as much as you can for as much time as you can.
Wow.
So I stepped out of that, which was a big decision because they had blessed me with a scholarship and different things. And I was having a really great time. I really enjoyed it. So it was a really hard decision to not go back, actually. So didn't go back. But yeah, that's kind of why I stepped out of Greenville Tech at the moment.
So how's the land?
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, so how's the land development manager role going? Because that obviously played a part in your decision here, right?
Yeah, it's going good. It's definitely, like I said, it's a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm picking up more and more each day. And that's kind of played into the decision of me stepping out of Greenville Tech because I want to learn as much as I can.
Yeah.
And selfishly as quickly as I can also. So yeah, it's good. It's a big learning curve, but it's something that I'm also, because I'm learning, I'm enjoying more each day.
And one of the things that I'm thinking of is that is such respectful and honest advice that you got from those people that you reached out to, right? And I don't know that 5 years ago somebody would have told you to stop going to school.
Probably not.
Because, things have changed, right? Around that atmosphere. You have to go to college. You have to get your 4-year degree. Yeah, it's nice, but it's not super effective in every role. And I'm glad that people are recognizing that and giving you the kind of advice that you deserve, which is the truth, right? Instead of thinking, traditionally, you should get done with school and then go do all the things. But I love that they were able to give you some real authentic advice. So you're making it look easy. I'm just saying. And you're super passionate about mentoring youth, which we are too.
Yeah.
And you are doing it more at your church and leading mission trips, local and national, even internationally. How does that drive give back shape to the way you show up in construction? And what's one mission trip moment that stuck with you?
Yeah. I think the biggest way that it connects is that like everything I do, I want it to be about people and relationships. So whether it's coworkers or engineers that we work with or people we're contracting out, that I'm working with real people, and they're in this industry too. And so just how can we work together well and how can we bless each other through our businesses, I think is a huge thing for me. Um, a mission trip moment that has specifically stuck out that I'm thinking about right now is I took a trip with some youth from my church to Kentucky after a big tornado hit a couple years ago. I don't know if y'all remember that,
Yes.
but it devastated the area. And so we
Yes.
went close to where it actually like touched down, and we were helping these incredible people that basically were giving people in the community that had lost houses short-term housing. Short-term is in like 18 months, so kind of long-term when we think about it, but short-term for them. And so they needed a chain link fence built around a pretty large retention pond. Otherwise, their organization was going to get shut down. And so I was there for a week with a bunch of teenagers, some who had never dug a hole before. And we dug, I want to say it was like 120 post holes, and put up this chain link fence before we left. And it was something that like we didn't see what they were reaping from that, because it was kind of invisible, but it was definitely like it was a huge learning thing for me and for the students I was with of like, we can do this. And there's no one out here thanking us. Like the residents aren't coming out to be like, oh, can we like dig these holes with you, which they weren't supposed to, they didn't need to. But we walked away like so proud of that fence that we built.
Nice.
And so it's funny because it's construction also, but just like being proud of what you do is a huge thing in every aspect. So whether it's serving people or whether it's something that I'm getting paid for also.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And that's not something anybody can take away from you. It just shaped your life in a way that will continue to just catapult you to the next place, right? Wherever that happens to be.
Yeah, you are certainly changing lives with all aspects, whether it's your volunteer work or whether it's speaking to a group of all sorts of females and males, or doing in your professional life. But going back to the females and stuff, I just want to make a comment about Christi talked about how powerful you were just being there, being present on that panel, because you were the youngest one there, by far.
By far.
But that's a good thing, because we need to see more of you, because these girls, everyone out there listening right now, and you'll probably hear some of this Friday when we talk. This is how you get the new generation, the next generation talent. You have got to have people on that stage, in that panel, in that discussion, showing them that they can be that.
They can do it too.
And that's what you showed a lot of those females. So kudos to you. Keep doing it. Okay, so now I'll keep going. So we all know that construction can be a tough industry, right? I mean, especially for young women just starting out. So what's been your biggest challenge you faced so far, and how have you pushed through it?
I think the biggest challenge is, for me, it's more of a personal challenge than an outward challenge, as it goes back to that learning of like feeling like I don't always know the most. And so being willing to like even sit in a room with people that are talking about stuff that I don't know what they're talking about sometimes. But like, that's how I learn. That's how I'm going to gain information. And so like, it's challenging to walk into a room and be like, okay, I have no idea what they're going to talk about. And like, if someone asks me a question, I'm just going to be like, I don't know how to answer. Like, I'm going to refer to someone on my team that's next to me, that's with me. But like, overcoming that is sitting in those rooms and like knowing that it's okay if I don't know something. And like, that is how I learn something new. And that also the people in this industry, like, they're willing to teach, and they're willing to, like, if I have a question that like in my mind, I'm like, that might be dumb. It's like, it's not a dumb question, because otherwise you're not going to know.
100%.
So yeah, just being willing to ask those things.
Yeah. You really are jumping out there and sharing some really, really, really good gems. Our listeners, especially our younger crew, are going to want to hear this. What's your best advice for girls and boys, guys, who are thinking about jumping into construction or let's just say they're chasing a big dream like you are, whether it's the field or leading a mission trip? What kind of advice would you give those folks?
I would say my biggest thing is find someone that you can ask advice that's outside of your circle. That's what I did, deciding to take the step to not go back to Greenville Tech. But that goes for like any dream you have. I think it's really nice to have someone that has an outside perspective. Honestly, sometimes maybe even someone that you don't know very well, just like give them a little bit of background and be like, hey, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
And like I've even with like different connections and networking and things like that. I had a professor this past semester at Greenville Tech, and she even sent like a message afterwards to us once we had finished up our exam and everything. Was like, hey, if you guys need anything, like reach out, find someone like that and reach out to them. It's not weird. Like people want to share their advice and their wisdom. So yeah, reach out to people. It's not a weird thing to do that.
So I'm going to ask one more question because we have a little bit of time. How do you take care of yourself?
Oh, yeah. Good one.
In the busyness of life and all the stress of wondering what I should do next, right? Because that's always the unknown is my biggest stressor.
Yeah.
So tell us, how do you take care of yourself just to make sure that you show up as yourself every day?
Honestly, I just say yes to a lot of fun things with friends because I'm in that stage of life where I have friends and I want to hang out with them as much as I can. And so like, even when I'm like, I'm kind of tired, I don't really want to hang out, I'd be like, yeah, I'll go hang out. Like, let's go walk around downtown, or like, let's go grab food together. Or like I have a small group I go to on Tuesday nights. So even just like being consistent and attending that also. So yeah, saying yes to things that I enjoy. I also can be somewhat of a hermit sometimes, and I like to sit at home and sew. And so sometimes like time for myself is just being like, all right, I'm going to close my door and I'm going to sew for a couple hours. So
nice.
Yeah.
Great advice. Really great advice.
Yeah, I would like to sew more. I learned it very briefly and not really do it much, but it is, that would be fun.
I would not like to sew more.
Some people don't. It's okay.
I would not like to cook more. I am not that girl. I would like to go mudding more. I would like to go hiking more, camping more, but
Those are good.
But actually sewing and cooking are like dread for me. Anyway.
I made homemade
But
ricotta.
It takes everybody.
Yeah, it does. I made homemade ricotta gnocchis the other day, Christy, so I'll have to make you some and bring them to you. That's what I do, Summer. I bake and cook.
I love that.
And every now and then I get blessed by her baking and cooking, which I love to eat. Don't get me wrong. Just because I don't like to cook doesn't mean I don't like to eat good food.
Yeah.
So, okay, as we wrap this up, share with our audience how they can get in touch with you. You know, if they want to even ask you even further questions about advice about being young and entering the industry, or it might even be a well-experienced person that needs your advice on how to talk to that younger person on their job site, right?
Yeah. I would say the best way is LinkedIn. I'm just now getting pretty active on it, being in this industry, because I've never used it before this. But I'm on there. I definitely check it daily. So just my name, which you can see on the screen. Just note that it's only one M. Otherwise, it probably won't pop up for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And for our listeners, it's Sumer and Furlong, Furlong, for those of you who are not watching YouTube.
Yes. And by the way, all of her information will be on our website on her episode link page. So if you didn't catch that and you want to go there, do it. Definitely reach out to her and stay connected. So, Summer, you are awesome. And thank you so much for being on our show. Listeners,
keep shining.
Yes. So listeners, if you are as amped up as we are about Summer's story, smash that subscribe button on Women Talk Construction. That's what AI is telling us to say.
Like and comment.
Yes. Leave us a review. Share it with your people. You know, we all need people to see the Summers of the world.
Absolutely.
So please help us out and do that. And keep building and keep serving.
Thank you,
Thank you guys.
Sumer, for being on.
It's been great. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sumer.